The daily word for us, and Cindy and her purple hair. I knew that when Kat Summerchild started coming over here that she would have an influence that would really strengthen our spirituality and cause us to... Kat showed up a few weeks with purple hair, so and it's just infiltrating. I figured Jean will have a purple mustache pretty soon. Oh, I'm going to take these off because this is not going to work. When I was a little girl, 4 years old, I remember I was 4 years old because my baby brother had just been born. And one cold winter night, my mother woke me up and helped me put on my coat and my little furry mittens and wrapped a warm woolen scarf around my neck, and then she put on her coat and her scarf and her gloves and bundled up my baby brother and picked him up in her arms and took me by the hand, and we went out the front door into the cold, crisp night. And we walked down the sidewalk not very far from our home. Within the block there was a huge bridge there. It was a massive bridge. It wasn't like the Golden Gate Bridge, but it was huge, and it covered a massive river that was very wide and very deep. And I had been taught and told to stay away from that bridge and to stay away from the water. But with my mother holding my hand, we walked onto the bridge. And when we got to the middle of it, she stopped, and we looked up the river there at one of the major corporations, and the building was just a raging fire. And so not only was I afraid of the bridge and the water beneath me, I was afraid of the raging fire. But my mother held my hand, and she said, "You're safe. Everything is okay. It's all okay." And in that moment, my fear was replaced with a sense of calm and peace. In that moment, as my mother held my hand, my fear was replaced with a sense of awe and anticipation and a strange sense of beauty as I stood in that crisp air and watched that orange-red flame dance against the midnight blue sky. Well, many years later, I went back to the city where my little brother and I were born. There is no major river that flows through Marshfield, Wisconsin. And the bridge, that huge bridge, that Golden Gate look-alike bridge, it might be 30 feet, maybe 40 feet in length. And the fire? There were no major corporations in Marshfield, Wisconsin. And there probably aren't any there now. It was a controlled burn of an old vacant wooden warehouse. They were burning down the old to make room for the new. But as children, we have what we could say a limited perspective on life sometimes. And one thing that we learn really quickly and fairly easily is fear. We're taught for good reason to stay away from things like fire and water and such things, because our childlike sensibilities and our physical abilities haven't developed to the place where we can harness things like that in the same way that we can as adults. The thing is that some people are trying to maneuver through life with those same unformed or uninformed ideas and perspectives about life. Rather than letting go of their fears or overcoming their fears, they simply replace those fears with other fears. So they perpetuate that feeling of torment or tension or terror that fear brings because it's become so comfortable, or they've become accustomed to it. So they're not afraid of the boogeyman in the closet anymore. That's been replaced with the boogeyman at the IRS or the government, or they're afraid of losing their house or their money or the relationship or their health or whatever it is. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. When I became an adult, I began to speak in a more mature way. I began to think in a more informed, knowledgeable way. As Plato said, we can easily forgive a child who's afraid of the dark. The real tragedy is when men are afraid of the light. We live in a fear-based culture with many people approaching life from the perspective that it is evil, wicked, bad, mean, nasty, it's difficult and it's hard and it's to be feared. Their philosophy is you need to be careful because you never know what kind of chaos or calamity might befall you. We teach just the opposite. We teach life is good, yes? All the time, yes? We teach that life is to be enjoyed, not to be feared. To be fearful of life is to lack an understanding of God, and to lack an understanding of yourself, and to lack an understanding of what life is really all about. And our fundamental purpose here at Unity Center of the Desert is to empower you with the truth. We come here to discover and to nurture and to ignite a profound divine nature within us. We want to discover and awaken spiritual powers within us so that we can be fully engaged with life, so we can be fully participating in life, not cowering away from it and shrinking back from it in fear. Fear keeps you in the mindset, or I guess I should say the heart set, because you feel fear in your heart. It keeps you in the mindset or the heart set that actually blocks you from being able to create conditions of good in your life. It doesn't go together, does it? Fear keeps you from embodying and keeps you from the intimate understanding that God is the source of all health and vitality, all wealth and prosperity, all love, all joy, all happiness, all harmony, all freedom, all creativity, all beauty, all good. So, how do we let go of fear? How do we change our perspective from one of fear to one of freedom? How do we grow up, if you will, and grow out of an unformed, an undeveloped understanding of life? Well, one of the New Testament writers wrote, "Perfect love casts out all fear." Perfect love. Unconditional love. Love without condition. Now, another thing that we as children easily and quickly learn about is love. We might not have learned about unconditional love, but we sure learned about conditional love. If you're good, then you can go out and play. When you clean up your room, then you get the cookie. So we kind of learned that there were conditions placed on any expression of love, any expression of appreciation or approval or reward or affection. So we learned about love from our external environment. The way we learn about perfect love or unconditional love is we go within. We go to the essence of our being, which is perfect love. And as we go within and we touch and we embody this perfect love, that's where we find the Divine Mother, if you will, holding our hands and saying, "Oh, child, life is so much greater than you realize now. It's so much richer and fuller and deeper, and it's all good. And you are eternally safe." Did you hear that? You are eternally safe. So when we know and embody this perfect love that casts out all fear, we begin to understand that there's nothing to be afraid of. We are fearless. And in this fearless place, then we can begin to put in place the mindset and the heart set for creating conditions for good in our life. So, the realization of perfect love is the foundation for creating conditions of good in your life. So this morning, I want to challenge you to free yourself from fear in 7 days. I call it the 7-day Free Yourself from Fear Challenge. How's that? And it begins with daily meditation, actually twice a day, for 7 days. Every night when you go to bed, as you're laying in your bed, before you go to sleep, lay on your back and just allow your body to melt into the mattress, just as if it's just opening to the earth. And you feel your body open, and in this place, you know there's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you have to be, you should be doing. Just allow yourself to come into the present moment and just be. And in this place, take a deep breath and affirm, I am happy, I am loving, I am fearless. And you do that 7 times, taking a deep breath, followed by the rotation of those 3 affirmations. In the morning when you wake up, then before you get out of bed, lay on your back, and again, just like if you're camping out and you're in a sleeping bag lying on the earth, just feel yourself connect to the earth, and you feel your body open, your heart open, and in that space, just allow yourself to come into the present moment and just be. Take a deep breath and affirm, I am happy, I am loving, I am fearless. You want to try that? Take a deep breath and affirm, I am happy, I am loving, I am fearless. So you'll do that 7 times in the morning and at night for 7 days. So, and as you do this for 7 days, you'll begin to come into a fear-free place. And in this fear-free place, a sense of calm and peace will fill your heart. And in this fear-free place, a sense of awe and anticipation will begin to fill your mind. And in this fear-free place, a sense of creativity and beauty will begin to swirl about you. And then you'll be able to create conditions for good in your life. You see, there's a power within us. It's called perfect love. I know that's not as dynamic and sexy as the Mighty Marvels and Furious 7 and all that, but this is the power beyond all power. And this power loves you. It sustains you. And it wants to lovingly direct you into a greater, fuller expression of life. But you have to be willing to release those patterns that are actually contrary to the conditions you say you want to create in your life. Interestingly, the spiritual faculty we're studying this month is power. And it can be defined as our ability to master, to have dominion, or to control. Even more interesting than that is that the spiritual faculty of power is located in the throat area. And the throat area is a magnificent, very powerful vibrational center. In fact, in many ways, it controls the vibrational energies of your body. We know that all of life is vibration, right? And that our words vibrate out from us and have some effect on our environment and the atmosphere. The master teacher Jesus said, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away." How bold! Where would he get the idea that his words were so powerful that they would last even if heaven and earth disappeared? Well, here's why. He also said, "The words I speak are spirit and life. So I want to ask you this morning, are the words you speak spirit and life? Are they sending out a vibration of perfect love, or are they sending out a vibration of fear? Through your words, are you perpetuating a fear-based culture? Or through your words, are you revealing a consciousness of God the good? So here's the second part of the 7-day challenge. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to speak only words of spirit and life. Even though those around you might be perpetuating a fear-based culture, and they might be talking about lack and limitation and illness and disease and hatred and separation and blah, 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 you speak only words of spirit and life, vitality, beauty, joy, abundance, prosperity, creativity, harmony, love to yourself and to all those around you. And as you do this, as you speak only words of spirit and life for the next 7 days, you're going to begin to feel a very powerful vibration in your body emanating out from you. When your voice is united with what Charles Fillmore called the life of the soul, I love that, the life of the soul. When your voice is united with the life of the soul, or your inner essence, or perfect love, it takes on a tone and a depth that people feel. It causes them to remember something very ancient in themselves. It resonates with something very deep within them that's been longing to come forward. So, what I'm talking about this morning isn't just letting go of fear. I'm not just talking about overcoming your fears. I'm talking about approaching life from a totally different way. I'm talking about a powerful transformation. I'm talking about transforming your energy and your vibration to a higher, clearer, lighter level, to where then you can create conditions for good in your life. And that takes courage. I mean, after all, you're going up against a culture, a fear-based culture that's been perpetuated for centuries. And not only that, you're going against your own beliefs and perceptions that you've been holding on since you were 4 years old. But as you tap into perfect love, and as you begin to release fear in your life, your body might begin to release the buildup of toxins in it. Your back might begin to feel better because you begin to realize that you are eternally supported. Your shoulders might begin to feel better because you don't have to brace yourself against life anymore. There's nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to protect yourself from life anymore. You don't have to wear that protective layer anymore. You might drop a few. Who knows? Life is good. Life is for you. Because you know that you are eternally safe. You don't have to protect yourself. And as you begin to tap into perfect love and release fear from your life, your mind will be lighter and roomier. There will be less tension between your ears, and there will be more space between your thoughts. Just imagine when you release fear from your life, all the focus and all the energy and the joy that you'll have. Because it's only when we're free from fear can we be full of life. Are you ready to be full of life? Well, our affirmation for the month of May is, I have the power to create my world. Are you ready to say that this morning? You want to say it together with me? I have the power to create my world. And so it is, and so it shall be. Okay, so now let's go into just a little bit of a meditation.